Holy cow, Alaska Airlines just announced that they are buying Hawaiian Airlines. What a huge move. What a big disruption in the industry and honestly in my career and my life. So we're going to go to Austin tonight. We'll talk about that on the way. Well, I had this great idea that I talk on this whole trip about the awesomeness or lack of flying red eyes, but my company just announced a merger today. We are buying Hawaiian Airlines, so we're going to talk about that instead. We're going to do it on our way to Austin. Let's go. All right, so KCM, or known crew member. I've been tagged 7 of the last 8 and 2 out of 2 on the last trip. Let's see if I get through. Well, I didn't get random. 7 out of 9, not too bad. Well, I thought it was just going to be another day at work, but today, on a Sunday, Alaska Airlines just announced that they are buying Hawaiian Airlines. So this is pretty big news in the industry right now. There seems to be this constant evolution of airlines buying and merging with each other, i.e. consolidation, meaning you're coming from a time when you had 8 to 10 major airlines. Remember Continental, Northwest, all those airlines have now merged into essentially 5 or 6 big airlines. So how does that affect me as a pilot? How does that affect the flight attendants? How does it affect all the employees? And how does that affect the customers? We'll talk about that. There's some goods, there's some bads. It's frustrating, it's exciting, it's all those things. So we'll dive into that and let's talk about that. Let's talk more about my perspective as just a pilot and how we get integrated into this new airline. Guys, we're flying Seattle to Austin tonight, 3 hours, 22 minutes of flight time, and 39,000 feet. We don't have very many passengers on board, red-eye flight, very low load, so we're gonna go high, we're gonna go fast, get to Austin. Pretty bumpy though. That's turbulence, warnings, all that kind of stuff, so not gonna be a very fun night. Welcome to Austin. That wasn't too bad of a flight last night. Me and the first officer, we had a ton to talk about. This merger is, it's pretty big news, like I said. I think we're all pretty excited by the opportunities that it might provide for us. I don't think there's any Alaska Airlines pilots that came here with the hopes of flying wide bodies overseas internationally. That wasn't part of my goal coming here at all. I really enjoy the flying that we do. Like last night, 3 hours, 22 minutes down to Austin, short layover, fly home. I just got paid 10 and a half hours of work and I've only been gone for 24 hours by the time I get home tonight. So that's the kind of flying I like to do. It's very efficient. I value my time at home. I think most airline pilots really value their time at home with their families. But what I mean by opportunities is, for me, I'll just talk about me personally. I'm really excited about the possibility of being able to non-rev and use my flight benefits now on a much grander scale. Now I could, or I will be able to non-rev or fly for free on my benefits to Australia, to New Zealand, to Asia, Japan, Korea, where Hawaiian does all that flying out of. If you're on the Hawaiian side coming over, Now you've got Alaska's vast domestic network that if you can non-rev over from Hawaii into the mainland, now you can get anywhere in the States for free on those Alaska travel benefits. So that would be the first thing that I would say that I'm excited for, and I think that a lot of people probably are excited for, is just a bigger network that we can now use our travel benefits on. That was a pretty good lunch. Our van driver recommended that place, and man, those little mini shrimp tacos were awesome. So back to the merger. Well, I'm kind of excited. Like I said, we have a much larger network, a lot of new places to we fly, but what's not good about this from a pilot's perspective or from any union member's perspective is how do we now merge these seniority lists? You have 3,400 Alaska pilots, 1,100 Hawaiian pilots. Hawaiian has been around for 90 years. Alaska has been around for 90 years. So how do you fairly and equitably merge these two groups together? ALPA, our unions, have come up with a ways of doing an SLI, a seniority list integration. It kind of sucks. And honestly, the way people say it is that unless both parties aren't upset and pissed off about it, then it wasn't a successful integration. We went through that with Virgin America. I had been working in Alaska for 12 years, and there was guys that worked for Virgin America for 7, 8, 9 years, and they came in on top of my seniority list because their relative seniority in that pilot group was higher than mine. So in my opinion, I got screwed. I moved backwards about 200 to 300 people in my seniority list when I'd been at Alaska longer than Virgin America had even been a company. That was a bit of a bitter pill to swallow, but what do you do? So now you got to integrate these two airline groups and these pilot groups. It's going to be tough. It's going to take a long process. I think, our management's saying 12 to 18 months just to get the regulatory approval for this. And I guarantee you, we're not going to move forward on any of this stuff until that's been approved. It doesn't make sense to do it. So a year and a half before our unions even start really negotiating and going through this process. What's going to happen is the Alaska union is going to say, hey, this is how we think it should be integrated. The Hawaiian union is going to say, this is how we think it should be integrated. And it's going to go to an arbitrator. And then the arbitrator says, this is how it's going to be integrated. And it sucks. You take it. There's really nothing you can do. But we're both ALPA carriers, so it is what it is. But anyway, so that's the bad part of the merger. Thank you. Coming in here to Seattle tonight. It is pouring cats and dogs out there. It is just coming down. But end of the trip, I got about an hour drive home, so I'm going to sign off here. I just wanted to touch on one more subject about this merger, and that's the strategy. I'm a pilot. I move planes from A to B. That's it. But I do love analyzing things and trying to figure out what Alaska's strategy is with this. And here's what I've come up with. Years ago when we bought Virgin America, Our company constantly made the comment that we wanted to be the most West Coast airline out there. So if you live on the West Coast, Alaska is your go-to airline for the product that we have. We're not a ULCC, we're not a Southwest, we're not a United, but now we can compete with United. So when I think about that, the other strategy would be to kind of move east. We've kind of maxed out our 737s and our E175s, what we can do off of the West Coast. There's not a lot more markets that we can actually serve with those without adding a further base out to the east. So it kind of does make sense in my mind to kind of add more options for our West Coast customer base. We're strong on the West Coast, and I believe that having this long range wide body planes to go to Asia, to maybe go to Europe, who knows where we're going to go with these things, it does kind of make sense to kind of bolster and kind of strengthen our West Coast grip, if you will, before we start going anywhere else. And this could be decades of growth that we could now do off the West Coast. So that's my kind of thought on it. I hope we keep the wide bodies. I really do. There's rumors and concerns that Alaska is just going to park them and go to an all 737 fleet. I hope that's not the case. I don't know though. I'm just a pilot. I move the metal. I don't make the important decisions. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. Stay tuned. The next trip is going to be a 24-hour layover in Fort Myers, Florida, which I'm pretty excited to do because I've never been there. So we're going to go check that out. And it's a pretty nice hotel from what I hear. So thanks for watching. Catch you on the next episode.